Well, it's headset out of the window, Willie again. I changed shirts to try and fool you that this was a different day, but it's the same day. Don't worry, as yesterday. But today we're going to talk about something that I feel is something I might actually be able to add some value, because as an Udyr one trick, I talked about this in my last video, but in 2025, there's really not a whole lot of need for one tricks anymore. The guides and the software out there tells you all the highest win rate builds. They'll tell you all the things, but where I could probably add value to someone trying to learn Udyr is talking conceptually about the way you think about playing Udyr, because that is something that no ChatGPT will ever be able to tell you. And I think that today I would like to start kind of one of these commentary videos talking about ultimately the most important thing for Udyr that I never hear people talk about. You'll see high-ranked Udyrs talk about it, but that's pretty much it. And the answer is it's patience. What do I mean by patience? Number one, awakening choice. All right. Udyr is a champion where you have literally the blessing of being able to pick 4 really, really strong abilities that each in their own way are extremely good into the right type of scenario. If you are rushing into your awakening, or you are somebody that is perhaps being a little overzealous and saying, I think this is going to be the right awakening, and then going into the fight and pressing that awakening instead of reacting and saying, let me hold on to my awakening and then see what they do, and then the right awakening will stick out like a sore thumb to me. That will be a much better way to go about playing Udyr. Patience is also really important on Udyr for another reason, because you literally never want to stop farming until you have a very, very, very high chance of getting a kill. Most people know about Udyr. He's the EUS like rank 1 jungler. And he's really popular because he explained to most people that the only time you should leave the jungle is essentially when you've got a very high percentage chance of getting the same amount of gold value on that gank or more, right? And so the idea is, if you look at like a bot lane gank, right, let's say, you know, they're both pretty low. You've got a full clear coming up towards top, so you've got to decide, do I go for this gank on bot, or do I go for a full clear? And do I maximize that tempo? That's a pretty tough decision, because with a full clear coming up, you've got 600 gold, right? So 6 camps, 100 gold each, give or take. You got 600 gold you're weighing this decision against. And to get even the right amount of gold for you to weigh against that 600 gold, you're going to have to get at least 2 kills, right? 2 kills, 2 times 300. Your teammates will get another 150 and 150 for an assist. They'll split it between the two, but you're going to have to get both kills, so you're going to have to kill secure both of them. You're going to have to crash the wave in and probably get a turret plate to make it worth for your bot lane. And then you're probably going to lose a camp or 2 or 3 on the other side of the map, because the enemy jungler is going to know. So then you've got to subtract 300 from that, and then I'm probably just going to go full clear. And this is where patience comes in. Patience will teach you that you don't go for that gank, and you say, you know what? It's going to stand out like a sore thumb. I'm going to bide my time. I'm going to continue to farm. And when I do have an item spike, when I do have a flash advantage, when it is painfully obvious that I can get a double kill, they're shoving in with 100 HP, no summoners, and I see the jungler on the top side of the map, right? Then you go for the gank, and you'll go pull the trigger and do that. But until you know for a fact that you've got the kill chance and the gold potential there, just keep farming and being patient. The other area where patience is extremely, extremely important with Udyr is be patient with yourself as you learn this champion. Udyr is not an easy champion. I'm making my day 1 guide to Udyr right now, and I kind of talk about this. In the grand scheme of things, if you were to line up every jungle champion you could play, I would say in the grand scheme of things, Udyr is actually, I don't know, very, very difficult. He is one of those champs that you really got to know what you're doing. You got to spend a lot of time. Mastery gets rewarded, so you don't want to spend, you know, half the time playing it, 10% of your time. If you're going to play League of Legends as an Udyr player, you need to be spending 40 to 50% plus of your time playing this champion. A lot of people don't have what it takes, or the patience, rather, to give themselves the grace to learn him. Udyr takes 50 to 100 games to even get the idea of how to use the right awakenings. You really need to sink in about 100 games before you're going to feel really smooth and natural on that choice selection and feel like you're not just playing a gimmick champion. A lot of people, when they start playing Udyr, report to me that he feels weak. There are other better characters out there, and I totally understand that. I totally appreciate that. What I would say to that is once you spend the time learning Udyr, because you're kind of a Swiss Army knife, because you can flex into multiple builds, because if you're patient and you're disciplined to be patient with your awakening choice, you really can play into pretty much every single champion in the game. It just takes a long time to get to that point where A, you've got the confidence to be able to say that, and B, you've got the practice and the reps to be able to do it. You can cheat by watching me and other like high-low Udyr players, but really and truthfully, it's the patience factor you have to give yourself in terms of the grace to be able to, stick through it. And I'll say Udyr is absolutely worth playing because once you do get through that very, very steep and long learning curve, it's very hard for you to lose games unless you're the one that piloted an error. And most Udyr players know what I mean by that. Like, if you just literally bide your time, be patient, hold on to your awakening, understand your item spikes, understand that you're not as strong as other champions at different stages of the game, depending on the champion. I think Udyr is phenomenally good for solo queue and makes one of the best teammates to have on the team, especially into like hybrid team comps and stuff like that. I'm in post-edit here. I'm actually going to throw in a quick little fourth bonus category for patience because I think it's really, really important as an Udyr player especially, and that's going to be patience with your teammates. And I know this is like a cop-out answer because all junglers have to have patience with their teammates, but Udyr in particular is just a champion that can't really force ganks. He can't force things without his team being in the right position. He's really good at clear speed and objectives and neutrals in the mid to late game, but early to mid game, you're extremely teammate reliant. And so what I would say to anybody playing Udyr, if you have a bad teammate, so, like, let's say you boot into a game and you're very easily able to recognize, oh, this guy has died 7 times at 8 minutes, or he's a one trick that didn't dodge, or what have you, right? If you have a bad teammate as Udyr, your chances of winning that game are extremely hurt compared to other champions that can navigate without their teammates better. I think of champions like Belveth, Talon, Kiana comes to mind. These champions all can kind of deal with the fact that they have a feeding teammate. They build early game items, high mobility, high invade pressure, they can escape if the snowball starts turning against them. The issue with Udyr in particular, and why patience is important in regard to your teammates, is because you are teammate reliant no matter what form of Udyr you're playing, more so than certain champions that exist in the game at the moment. The other thing that's really important with teammates is understanding, going back to what we were talking about farming and being very, very surgical on when you choose to exit the jungle, is that you really don't want to let your teammates get in your head while you're farming. And kind of creating yourself, not necessarily a bubble, because all junglers are watching the map and reacting on the fly in short 5 to 15 second, gathering information, data windows. But that being said, you almost want to look at yourself as like a bubble, and you don't want to let the teammates and their negativity and their feeding, or on the flip side, their good gameplay, get into your head either. Because if I can't tell you how many times I've seen teammates start lanes 5-0, and then they end up feeding and losing the game, and you sacrifice tempo because you think that person's going to carry, and then they don't carry, and then you lose. Keeping the teammates in the eye of the ball, keeping your eye on the ball, so to speak, and keeping patience, even in regards to them, is extremely important. So that's today's video. If you found this video interesting, let me know what you guys think is the most valuable. But to me, if I were to teach a new Udyr, I would say that's probably conceptually something you won't find online very often, is patience. It's the hardest thing to learn with Udyr is patience, both with awakening choice, but when to participate on the map, and then finally giving yourself patience as you learn the champion, because there's like 17 different builds and all of that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I always tell people I'm at y'all's mercy. I can't grow the stream or the YouTube unless y'all help me, so thank you guys for watching. I'll try and help you. You help me, and let's grow together. Bye. Dang.
Call me so I can make it juicy for ya.